What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode and another week of the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick. That's Gunk. Gunk.
Woo!
This week was the frozen frenzy in the NHL. Every team played. There was a bunch of games, a bunch of goals.
Yeah. Oh,
And before we get into that, how have you been doing? How's your week? How's everything been?
doing really good. We're all set. I said hockey season started, which is again we're really getting into it now. We're
Oh,
most
yeah, we
most
are.
seasons
It's been
played.
so nice.
It has been so. This season has been so exciting so far.
I
Like
know.
just the games are just like it's a totally different. I don't know what it is. It's just got a different aura this year. It feels really good, and it's one of those like you're so proud to be a hockey fan now, and now you're starting to see it like in like even around here, like you're starting to see people actually like talk about it and like actually like will wear like like gear and stuff. I saw like so many like Devils Rangers gears around here now. It's so funny, but yeah, like I said, it looks like hockey's on a little bit of a turn up, and we can't be more happier because we love hockey and we've been loving hockey for years and years. So,
Hells yeah. I've been
and we love to bring in the new fans. Let's teach them.
yeah,
That's it.
damn
But
straight.
Frozen Frenzy, we
Yes.
had all the teams playing. We started. What time they start? About 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, they started at 6 and it's funny that you bring that up because they gave us some stats after everything was all said and done. First game started at 6. Can you tell me what time the first goal was scored?
Hmm. I'm gonna say exactly. Let me give you this. Just gonna take a guess. I'm gonna say 6:21.
You are close.
Oh well, again, I knew the first game of the night was the Washington Philadelphia game, so I'm on the stats and I see that Nick Dowd had scored a shorthanded goal at about 3:49 into the first. So you figure by time introductions and all that stuff. About yeah, I was gonna say about I would say 6:21, 6:22.
6:14.
Okay, I was a little
There you
maybe
go.
maybe their ceremonies were a little faster that night. So okay, so hey, I was pretty close. So
Yeah, no,
let's.
I'll give you that. That was pretty good.
Yep.
In the
Speaking of
sixth,
Washington,
oh,
wow. I mean,
Washington.
Washington on a heater, 5 in a row. I mean,
Yeah, I know they've looked good.
they
I'm
look
not.
fantastic so far.
And can we talk about Philly? I don't. Philly's just looked kind of bad.
Oh, did you see Torts on the bench? I mean, he did not look happy whatsoever.
I
Oh,
mean, with
he
the
looked like
way that they've been playing, I wouldn't be happy either.
no.
They
I mean,
haven't
their
been
one bright
doing.
spot is Michkov. I mean, Michkov's got 3 goals in his first 8 games. So that's a bright spot. But again, it's the team's just not coming together. Like they even. I mean, they thought they were going to be pretty bad, but this is not good at all.
Yeah, no, not when you were close to making the playoffs last year. That's just. It's not to a point of being unacceptable yet because it is
Mm-hmm.
still early, but once you get to about Thanksgiving, it gets to a point to where you need to step it up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because the way you're playing right now, especially against teams in your own division, those games that you're losing right now are going to hurt you come say January, February,
Absolutely.
when especially because in February you're not going to be playing that many games because of the Four Nations tournament.
Right.
So you need to teams need to realize that you need to get these fast starts now and
Absolutely.
start building that momentum because if you fall behind, you're going to stay behind at this point.
Oh, absolutely. And we've had that stat for the last couple of years that we've been talking about this that playoff teams, if you're in a playoff spot around Thanksgiving, that time of year, you're going to make the playoffs most of the time.
Exactly.
So if you're out of a position in that spot, it's so hard to even, in a regular, in a normal season to make that, make those points back up.
Mm.
And you fall behind early, and it's tough. And like I said, even last year with the Devils, I was optimistic until and I kind of ignored that stat because I was hoping they would just turn it around. And hey, they never did. So that stat is really a really good observation of what's coming in the future for the teams that are struggling or are jumping ahead of you know really are jumping out really quickly this season.
Mm. Yeah, it's that's something I've I heard from a couple other places, and I started to really think about it. And you're right, it is a good idea of like where a team really is at a certain point in the season because you're about a quarter of the way through the season at that point. You're really starting to figure out who's good on the team more or
Yep.
less.
Right.
So I feel like it's a really interesting thing to look at, especially now as Halloween's coming up and everything. We're getting ready to go into November.
Right.
So we have that idea now to look out for it. And with some of the teams, it's very surprising that they're above that line, like as
Yes.
of right now. But for other teams, to be below it is just as surprising, honestly.
Absolutely. Especially Nashville. I mean, Nashville, they were up there to make the playoffs and make a big run. I mean, they spent all this money in free agency and they've won one game so far this year.
Mm.
And Stamkos has not delivered. He's only got I think the one goal I think he's got, or he's got the one. He's only got 1 point so far in all their games.
That it
So
was the one goal, yeah.
yeah, I said, and so far that process is not working. I mean, a lot of people last year on Tampa were saying that he was more just power play. He was getting everything off the power play, and if their power play is not as good as the Tampa power play was, he's not going to get the opportunities that he's getting now. So you know, hopefully he could. I mean, hopefully he could turn it around because he's a great player, but. Like I said, right now it's really stalling the Nashville, progress right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've been keeping an eye on Nashville, and it's kind of disturbing to see how poorly they've been playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like you said, this team was supposed to be a playoff contender, try to make a big push, and they've just kept pushing themselves down to the bottom of the standings. But to go conversely on that, the top of their division, the undefeated Winnipeg Jets.
Absolutely. Like, wow, they've really come out and fired too. And they're another team that you didn't think they was going to come out of the box really quickly. I mean,
No, them
yes,
in
they,
Calgary.
yeah, that was the other team I was going to bring up was the Calgary Flames. I mean, they were not expected to make the playoffs at all. Like, they were supposed to be, searching for a lottery pick, and they've came out to shoot really quick. And, the young players are really stepping up. Wolf is playing really good in goal. It's really coming together for Calgary, and these trades that they made, maybe they made it at the right time. The GM there, you know, I'm worried about it because I know they made a few trades with my team, so I'm like, and when I see my players, playing on there, doing good, I'm like, it really hurts me. But like I said, Calgary really has improved, and let's hope they keep it up because that's one of those teams that I can root for, in a Western Conference, that that's one of those teams that just I can get behind.
Yeah, I agree. And with Calgary still, the one player that everybody's looking at has been looking pretty good. I mean, Huberdeau with 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points in 6 games.
Hmm.
That's pretty good considering everybody wanted him fired into the sun pretty much last year.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully that keeps up as well, but that's another time will tell kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, going back into the whole Frozen Frenzy as an entire thing, 16 games, 98 goals, and 6.1 goals per game.
Oof.
That high number as a goals per game was contributed by our two teams.
Oh, absolutely, and mine in not a good way.
Mine in a fantastic way, but we can get into yours first.
Uh,
Devils lose at home 8-5 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. What are your thoughts?
my thoughts were and ugh. I mean, it started out pretty well. We had a 2-1 lead, but that second period, I just don't know what happened. The defense just broke down. I mean, Hagel scores three straight goals for a hat trick. Three straight. The Getzel goal was right off
The
the
power
right
play
off.
goal. I want to talk about something with that Gensel goal.
Okay.
I was rewatching the highlights before we hopped on here just to get myself refreshed with everything. and they showed the goal. And all you hear is Ken Danico. Just all you hear is him go, "Oh, jeez."
Yes, absolutely.
I was in stitches. just
Hmm.
the nice little subtle "Aw, jeez."
Sometimes when the Devils get down, he gives the best one-liners. I mean, in all seriousness, not between his very everything. We need the next goal. We need the next goal on it
Yeah, he
every
said
time they're
that a
down.
couple times too.
Oh, he says that every game, dude. If if there was a drinking game for him saying it, I'd be totally drunk by the end of like the first period. He
Jesus.
says we gotta get the next goal. We gotta get the next goal at least 35 times a game. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I mean, I got to give the boys credit though. I mean, they did try to fight back. I mean, they did get it. They came out in the third. They did come out and they got the Bastion goal in 3 minutes. They got the Timo Meyer goal. Brought it down, and then I said the one that should have been a penalty on the Mercer goalie interference. It should have been a penalty. Hedman literally pushed Mercer right into Johansson, and it was a clear that Mercer did not want to interfere with the goaltender, but they did call a penalty on it, and that's what led to the Getzel goal right off the bat, and that's where the "oh God" probably came from
Yeah.
because we were right back in that game, and that really just killed momentum. And then the
Oh,
most
to
ridiculous
add
goal
insult to
by
injury.
JJ Moser. Right, you knew it was over right there. It was like, okay, this night is over. If it was me personally, I would have been walking out of the building after that,
Are
just
you
because.
serious? I would have
Oh, I
stayed.
would have.
Oh, I would
Oh,
have
I would have.
stayed. That's the best.
No,
I would have had to
no, I couldn't
stay.
have. That off that off the deflection off the boards and right in, and Allen didn't even like. He literally was like, "Uh oh," like he was like, "What am I gonna do?" And it was like I knew it was over right there. I mean, it was 7-5 at the time, but I was still like, "Yeah, I'm done. I
Yeah,
can't."
fair
I
enough.
mean, we
Wow.
did get the Nason goal that another power play goal, which is good. Seems like the power play is starting to come together a little bit for the Devils, so that's a good sign, especially with Luke coming back. He'll try. He'll anchor most likely the second power play unit now when he comes back with Seamus Casey being sent down to Utica, which was I feel like a good move. I mean, he is young and they do want to keep him that extra year on his ELA. So it was a good move to move him down. He got a little NHL experience. He got a couple goals. He got a couple exciting moments in the NHL. This is going to be a nice little move for him. He'll go down, he'll play well, and then hopefully, the next couple years, we do have some older defensemen that hopefully he can replace in the next, 2 or 3 years. So I was very, very excited about the Casey experiment. He's in Utica now, but hopefully now with our one of our highlighted free agents, Brett Pesci, coming back now, and like I said, one of our Calder finals, Luke Hughes, coming back. Hopefully it shores up this defense because the last couple games it's been really, really. It's reminding me of last year's, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I was gonna ask.
yeah.
Is there a little sense of panic going on, or is it just because of injuries that this is all going on? Do you think once Pesci and Luke are back, you'll start getting back into it?
I feel like right now it's I feel like kind of like they're in a rut right now. It's kind of like they're just in a rut. I feel like tonight's game is going to be really important for them just because they just got out of they I feel like they play way better on the road than they do at home.
Mhm.
I said, I've watched every home game so far, and I've been to the one game, and the one game I did go to was the Utah game, and that was the only game at Prudential Center that they seemed like they actually really was putting the effort in. Like they played back in Prague. I mean, they were playing tough, hard, hitting, blocking shots, all the things that you need to be a good defensive team, plus be offensive, striking back, stuff like that. The only game at home they really have had that was the Utah game where they had the 3-0 shutout. I mean, every other game, if you go back and look, I mean, they've been getting up crazy goals, and they're fighting back, and they had to fight back against Washington just to get the one loser point, with the Tom Wilson overtime goal. So I feel like they just need to get on the road. Maybe they can bond a little bit, get back to the way they were playing earlier in the season. But I'm not in the panic mode right now. I'm kind of just like this is. I mean, again with the 82 game season, you kind of get in these little ruts, and I feel like
Mm.
maybe this is just a little bump in the road right now. Let's see for the next couple games. They have they said they have Detroit tonight, which is a winnable game. Then they have the Islanders on Friday. That is also a winnable game with the Islanders not playing as well as they were expected to start out as. And with Duclair not playing because he's injured now. So, you have a little bit of an advantage there. But like I said, these next couple games are going to be crucial to see where they are right now because it can go either way. I mean, like I said, if they continue the way they're playing right now, it's going to be a struggle for them. If
Mm.
they can bounce back and get back to the way they were playing the first 3-4 games, I feel like then it was just that bump, and we're on the road to moving up the standings and back to where we want to be.
All right. I like I like the optimistic Devils fan that
No,
Gonka is
absolutely.
that Gonka V.
No, I'm not in full panic mode yet. Like I said,
Okay.
I'm not in full panic mode. I feel like the talent is there, the coaching is there, the goaltending is there. It's like I said, if this was last year, I would kind of be more a little panicky. I'd be more ranty, but for right now, I'm really calm about it, and I just want to watch the next couple and see how they play coming out of the shoot against two teams that I feel like personally that they should definitely win. Maybe not blowout, but definitely a solid win for either game. Or I want both games, but solid win for both games. And just the way they play. I mean, even if they win by one of these 7-5 games, I'd kind of be worried just again because the defense is not playing the way they win. I want to win some games, 4-1, 5-2, kind of that way
Okay.
to see where the team is defensively, right now.
All right. That makes sense. That's a good way of looking at it. And yeah, hopefully they can uh, bounce back to it because that's another team that can't really afford to fall behind with where
No,
their expectations were and everything coming into the
right.
season. And they've
Especially
looked okay so far, but it's just a matter of getting a little bit faster on everything.
Yeah, and especially like I said, especially with the Prague start that they're 2 games ahead of everyone. So now everyone's got 2 games, in hand on the Devils most times. We played 9 games. Most teams have played 5, 6 games. So
Mhm.
if these teams are getting points and stuff, we're not gonna be able to make that up because we're not gonna have enough games to make these games up.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
But
Well,
let's get into the destruction of the Canadiens de Montreal
boom.
by the NYR the other night on the Frozen
Yes,
Frenzy.
that game was fantastic. I am really happy with how this team has been playing. Um, to come out fast, to come out hard in Montreal was a very good thing to see. This is one of the best starts in team history. Uh, the Rangers look really good, man.
They look for real.
Yeah,
They really look for real this year. Like in all seriousness, from the highlights I've caught, they've seen like they're on a mission this year, and
and you know
you
what? They
know
should be.
no,
They should be because with
and the pressure
how
is on.
everything exactly like you just said, the pressure is on, and the way that they're responding to it, especially with this lineup, it looks like they are ready to take on pretty much anything,
Right.
and you're getting that scoring up and down the lineup that I was talking so much about last year.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just not the stars that are scoring. You're getting, Cheeto is. I mean,
my boy.
Cheeto has, scored a couple goals the other night. I mean, you got even Kako, threw one in, and at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean the line of Cooley Hito Kako has been one of the best for the Rangers. You don't see it as much because Rangers fans are always so focused on the top players trying to produce.
Right.
But I mean, Heedle and Kako combined put up 3 goals and 3 assists on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So you're getting that support throughout your lineup now. And I need to talk about Riley Smith.
Okay.
I fucking love Riley Smith.
Oh, okay. That was there. There's a flip flop over there, my friends.
he the goal he scored to put the Rangers up 3-0 was a thing of beauty. Just just steals the puck away from the defenseman, breaks in and just lasers it. It was so nice. It was so clean. I wasn't expecting it, and holy shit, this team may be good.
Nah, absolutely. No, this team is really good, and you should be very proud of their start. I mean, Rangers fans should be very happy with their start right now. I mean, they're getting, like you said, they're getting scoring from everywhere. They're getting, they're getting productive from their big guys. The team is just clicking right now, and for a Rangers fan, you got to be happy with the start you're on. And like I said, this again, a lot of experts are saying this is their last year of this unit being together, and if they're not going to do it this year, they're not going to do it at all. So I feel like they're really stepping up to this pressure of they know that this could be the end for this portion of the Rangers history, and they want to take advantage of it, and they're stepping up to the plate, and they're stepping up, and you know can they last a full 82 game schedule? I mean, they showed last year that they can win in the regular season. It's going to be getting into the playoffs again, and there's going to be different scenarios than last year, and you're going to adjust and you get to see how they play in the playoffs right now, because they're looking like a solid Stanley Cup contender right now.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing at this point because you get a little glimpse of that tonight with the Rangers when they play because you get a rematch from the Eastern Conference Final. The
Right.
Rangers are at home tonight playing against the Panthers.
Yep.
So we're going to be able to see how this team is really going to compare to the competition that you're going to need to play well against for one of those deep playoff runs that you need. And at this point, it's a cup run. It's not even a deep playoff run, it's a cup run.
No, it's all or nothing right now. I mean,
Exactly.
they got to feel like it's all or nothing, and I don't think they're going to be settling for EC Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
Yeah,
They
no.
they
It
got to
shouldn't
go.
be.
They feel like they got to go all the way, and like I said, so far so good. They're stepping up to the pressure, and can they? Like I said, they showed last year they can do this during an 82 game regular season. It's going to be the playoffs that we're going to see how the Rangers team actually comes together and stands up to the playoff runs.
And I think with the depth that the Rangers have right now in certain positions, it'll be a little bit easier to work with
Right.
because I could tell somebody Jimmy Vesey would have been on the start opening night roster if he wasn't hurt,
Right.
and he's been hurt, and you haven't noticed a need for him. Like now, he feels like he's a reserve guy,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I like knowing that I have that feeling of if something happens, we just have another guy that could step in that knows what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So
And it's great because a lot of teams don't have that luxury right now of having that depth on the roster that the Rangers actually do have. Like I said, they have people that are out that they need, that they could always just, you know, miss and match back in, back and forth. It's the depth that's gonna do it for them this year.
oh, absolutely, I totally agree, and being able to see that so far has been nice. And I don't want to say they have an easy schedule coming up, but they have games that they should be able to come out really fast in and just just batter away against the teams that they're playing because they're showing that they can so far. I mean, you've scored at least 4 goals in every game that you've played so far, which is insane.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely insane. But it's going to be exciting to watch the progression of the season because so far Rangers fans need to be really happy with this start.
Yep.
And honestly, with how the Rangers have started, it's helped a lot with the Mets pain. so
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
I'm still happy over here in Sportsland.
Hey, I would be happy myself. I mean, you made it that far. I mean, you made it to the billion-dollar team. You couldn't beat the billion-dollar team. I mean, that was a great run by the Mets. Got to give it to them.
Gotta give it to
Unfortunately,
them.
got to give it to them.
I wanted that Subway Series, World Series, man. That's all I
But yeah,
need.
that interesting game on next Tuesday versus the Capitals. That's going to be a really good game against to see how the Rangers stack up too. With Washington being, like I said, starting off really well. It's going to be a nice little clash there too on next Tuesday. I
Yeah,
feel like
absolutely. It's gonna be
that could be a little stepping stone to see how their season's also rolling too. Besides tonight's game against the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're going to be able to see if you could still hold up the idea that if you were to meet this team again, you can sweep them again.
Right. Exactly.
So I totally agree with you that the game coming up against Washington is going to be another pretty good test.
Yeah, like I said, I just find it interesting. That's going to be one of those because Washington's going to want to step up, especially playing their first game against the Rangers after that sweep last year. I'm sure they're going to want to come out and show them, with their, excuse me, with their toughness, that they've been displaying actually for the last couple games. The game I watched against the excuse me, with the Devils. I mean, they were really physical, on the ice. So it's going to be a nice matchup to see, for, just a little test for the Rangers to see, yes, where they are right now in their development of moving up through the stepping stones of the regular season.
yeah, absolutely. And if we're continuing on with the topic of different tests throughout the regular season so far, the Rangers had a little bit of one on Saturday, and they passed with beating Toronto. So
Right,
they're just showing that they're able to pretty much step up to anything, step up to anybody,
right.
and we're just gonna have to see if that continues as the season keeps rolling. But
Absolutely.
what else you got for me, Gunkles? Come on, hit me with it.
So like I said, we went over the few things. I was just going by, just looking through the standings and stuff, and like I said, there's few surprises we were talking about. Like I said, we talked about Winnipeg already. Minnesota rolling really well. They're undefeated. I mean, they got two overtime losses, but still they're 4-2. Minnesota, yes.
Oh, if we're talking
Utah.
about Minnesota,
Mhm.
they yeah they are 4-2, but they have not trailed in a game yet.
Yes, that's exactly. I was gonna bring that up. Yes,
Yeah, they haven't
they've not
trailed
trailed in.
at all, which is
Right,
insane. They're getting out to like 2-3 nothing leads as the game starts, so they don't have to worry about being behind.
right, exactly. Hey, that's the way to do it. I mean, how can you not? I mean, you gotta be ahead to win the
Yeah,
game. So,
yeah, but to pull off beautifully, offense is the best defense is insane.
oh God. But yeah, I wanted to just talk about a couple of disappointments so far. We talked about Nashville so far. Edmonton still 2-4-1. I
Yeah, a little
mean,
bit of a stinker so far to start.
yeah. I mean, is it you think it's Stanley Cup hangover still? I
A
mean, that
little
game
bit.
was
It's a lot of
yeah,
to push it as far as they did. It's a lot of hockey, and you're
yeah.
seeing it a little bit with Florida at times.
Hmm.
Not to the same extent, but yeah. I mean, it's it's a lot of hockey to play. Figure while a lot of other teams' seasons ended in April or like May,
Hmm.
theirs ended in late June.
Right.
So the turnaround time for some teams compared to the Oilers is normally where that's coming from. So yeah, I could see that,
Yep.
but they also just need to, kind of not have that. If you, I like to think the Oilers have as much, if not a little bit more pressure than the Rangers. So for the Rangers to come out the way they have and then turn around and look at Edmonton come out the way they have, it's a little bit concerning for their fans.
Right,
But
exactly.
I can also just see where saying Stanley Cup final hangover is coming into play there. That would make sense too.
Yeah. And the other surprising team, I mean, they're not like, it's not a surprising like, like, oh my God, they're in trouble, but Boston's only at 3-3-1. I mean, they were always, one of those teams that, got out to a fast start. They're up in their, they're up in their division. I mean, right now they're fourth in, they're excuse me, they're fifth in their division behind Florida, Tampa, who is playing really well. Yeah, that's the other team I was going to bring up was Tampa. Like I said, watching them the other night. I mean, they got rid of some of their big stars, and they just keep rolling. I mean, you gotta give the GM credit. He made all these moves that Tampa fans were worried about, and they're sitting there at 4-2. I mean, you got to give the coach John Cooper credit. You got to give the GM credit. They're keeping up with this. I mean, again, it's still early in the season, but the Tampa looks really, really good so far.
Yeah, they always find a way.
Yes, absolutely. It feels like it. Yes, it does.
So I mean, yeah, maybe that Gensel signing was a little bit of a rejuvenation for the team. We have a star that's a little bit younger now. I mean, he's not super young, but he's younger than Stamkos. I feel like is their mindset at that point. But yeah, I mean, 6 games in, they've looked really good. They looked like they've been able to pick up where they left off for the most part. But yeah, looking at Boston, they it's a little rough for them because they're losing against teams that they shouldn't be.
Absolutely. Yes.
4-1 loss to the Kings, shutout 2-0 against the Caps, loss in overtime to Utah, and then you get blanked by the winless Predators.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just a little something off so far with Boston. Like I said, I'm sure they'll come back and they will be a playoff team, but it's just a little concerning, especially with Swayman just sign his contract, not having a full camp. It's kind of the slow start. I mean, but again, I see them coming back around. It's just one of those things that was very little tidbit that I saw was very interesting. That they're right now they're just kind of a like mid team, just hanging there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the Atlantic is the toughest division in the East.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's going to be more of a battle. So I mean, with where every other team is considering, I mean, they're well right up in it.
Yeah,
And I mean, one win puts them tied with Florida at 9 points. So we
right.
should be able to see a little bit of a bounce back. But yeah, I can see where the concern is being 3-3-1 at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit concerning.
that is very concerning.
And
But
then
like,
yeah,
but we got a lot of games tonight. We got, like I said, we have the Devils playing to Detroit tonight. St. Louis, Toronto, not a bad game. Of course, the Rangers are playing Florida, so we'll both be locked onto those games tonight.
yeah. Oh, St. Louis,
And
Toronto. It's Barube's first game back.
yeah, exactly. Yep. I said we
Cool.
got a. Actually, we were just talking about Boston. They're playing Dallas tonight. That sounds, really good game there. Calgary and Carolina's playing. Colorado, who's another one, looks like they're making a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah,
They had a little bit of a
they're
slow
finally starting
start.
to pick it back up.
Yeah, the McKinnon goal the other night was crazy. The
Ooh,
one
yeah.
on three in the overtime winner. Oh, ridiculous. That's why you pay the man. That's why he's the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but anyway, do you have anything else, Nick? We got hockey
One
set up for tonight, baby.
one thing that I did just want to mention real quick, if we're talking about crazy goals,
Okay.
we'll bring it back to the Devils real quick. The one goal Hedman scored, where he just lasered it top corner. Ooh, what a goal! I
Oh,
did
that
not
was
think he
yeah.
still had that in him.
Oh no, yeah.
But
It was a beautiful shot. I mean, I thought Allen had it for a second, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I saw the light. I was like, oh boy,
oh,
that went right through. That was one of those laser shots that could have went through his glove and went right into the net. I mean,
hmm
it was a blast. Oh,
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, the old man still got it, man. You got to give it to him. Give it a shout out to the old man out there. Good job.
shout out to him. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I got for everybody this week. Gang, keep an eye out for more content coming up. As I get more time, I'll get more stuff out.
Yep.
Watch out for anything from Gunk there.
Yes.
And yeah, this has been another episode and another week of the What the Puck podcast. Gang, we love you. Gunk, I love you. We'll catch you
Love you too,
next
buddy.
week.
Yep.
Have a good one, baby. Peace.